Hello and welcome to Teacher Talk, the podcast for teachers who are lifers but still want to have a life. This is Jared, and as always, I'm joined by my partner, Johanna. Hey, Johanna.
Hey, Jared.
What are we going to talk about today?
Subplans. We had a request.
We're like a big-time, real deal podcast now, with listener requests for subplans.
Well, how do you prep for a sub?
You give them a video to show, and then they show the video.
No.
I'm pretty... Based upon my experience as a student, that's exactly what you do. So today we're going to watch this video about, I don't know, maybe a Mythbusters. That's kind of educational.
I used to have a subplan with Mythbusters in it.
See? That's not so bad.
Yeah. Let's talk about your two options as a teacher.
All right, option one.
Option one is that the learning stops, which is kind of connected to your video. You have some sort of other activity that's like educational, maybe review, but mainly it's fun. And the sub's job is just to manage behavior, and no one's really learning, but nothing bad happened. The goal is to have nothing bad happen.
We're essentially forfeiting this day as long as behavior doesn't blow up. No one gets hurt.
No one gets hurt.
We don't have to deal with any behavior problems afterwards.
We reviewed maybe some stuff we've done before.
And if that's what it takes in exchange for zero learning, then I guess we had zero learning that day.
Well, we had no behavior problems.
Right.
Yeah.
You're trading zero learning for no behavior problems?
Well, not zero. I suppose it's probably zero.
Minimal learning.
Minimal learning
for no behavior problems.
Right.
Okay.
You could have been curious. It's not like you threw in the towel completely, but yeah, that's option A. Option B is, and you've remembered me doing this, you go in at like 4:30 in the morning and you leave at 7:30 and you've made subplans for an 8-hour day that took you 3 to 4 hours to create.
Right.
And if you're lucky, the sub had enough time, was able to get there with enough time to actually read the sub plans, and you were clear enough in your days of sickness to write something that was articulate enough to be followed.
Crazy enough when you're having to have a sub because like your kid is sick or something, but I remember you doing it when like you were sick, so you went in for 2 or 3 hours to write a sub plan. I'm like, you basically put in a full day of work.
Right, and then left your sickness all over everything, right, as you're getting organized. So,
neither of those seem like fantastic options.
Neither of those were something I enjoyed doing, which is why teachers go sick. Or they make their kids go to school sick. Or they feel guilty about being gone, because it's just more work to be gone than it is to stay.
Right.
But there's a better way.
There is a better way.
There's a better way. I got smart several years ago. It took some bad stuff happening in our life, but I got smart, and I learned to create the video subplan.
The video subplan. Tell me about the video subplan.
So the video subplan is under 15 minutes long. The goal is 10, and it is a subplan that is all in video.
This is like a YouTube video for your sub.
A YouTube video for my sub that I can send. Now, our particular way that we get subs is I can include like small amounts of writing, and so I can link the video in there, and they can watch it before they come.
You actually put it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. The people listening to this episode can go watch.
That's not even private YouTube?
No.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's part of the secret.
Well, go watch the video. Should they watch the video now, or should they listen to us? And
I think they should listen to it so that they understand, so that they can use the video not as like, oh, this is neat, now I know how her classroom works, but so it can be like, oh, now I get how to make my own video.
Listen and think about how your video would look, and then go watch the example?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I have a secondary example, and I have an elementary example. So you have
homework now while you're listening to this podcast, is you need to be thinking about your answer, and there's going to be a test at the end.
Yeah. Well, we're goal setting. Your pre-assessment is design a subplan in 30 minutes where your students learn something new.
I don't know how to do that.
And then now, would you like to know how to? Yes. Shall we write a goal? See?
Okay.
Oh, Better yet, you have a team of teachers where we have... Okay, anyway, so video subplans. The main purpose of the video subplans is that you need to have it be about the structures and routines of the room. That is the number one thing, that if the sub can do what you do the way that you do it, behavior problems aren't going to happen because things aren't different. Right? If kids see, because it's like this, I've subbed for other people in my building, right? And when kids see that you know the game.
Right.
Yeah. They're like, oh, this person is wise with it. And they just handle that differently. Even if that's the first time interacting with that person.
I don't know how this classroom runs better than this teacher.
Right.
He or she knows how this classroom runs, just like I do, and so I can't get away with things thanks to my superior knowledge.
As a student.
Yeah.
Right. Right. If you're a young student, you feel safe because she's doing what is always supposed to be done. If you're an older student, you're like, oh, this probably isn't the day to have fun with the sub day.
Like, if I do this thing that I know I'm not supposed to do, I won't get away with it because it seems like this person knows what I'm not supposed to do, and I'll hear about it afterwards.
Some teachers will be like, well, I already have that pre-written out. Okay, white paper with black text telling someone how to do X does not do the same thing as you just showing them very quickly with your mannerisms and your personality in your classroom. It's every sub I have had, with the exception of a couple who were scared by YouTube as a technology, overwhelmingly appreciate the video. They felt very comfortable subbing.
I mean, you had the white paper and black dots too, I assume, because I like having instructions, like,
oh, sure.
But like, you're right. There's no, like, if you want to do a project, like how to change the oil in your car, like, instructions are one thing, but like, there's no substitute for a video guide walking you through the instructions, right?
I don't expect them to memorize the video, so there is like a bullet list,
right?
But not written out directions. Not written out explanation. That's a better way to say it.
Sure.
Okay, so routines and structures you put into the video. Then you also have to put into the video, where do they go to find answers? A lot of the questions or problems that someone might have in your room, you think you have it very carefully outlined. You have a binder. It's labeled. Everything is identified. But it's not until you hold up the actual binder for a teacher.
Yeah.
And then they're like, binder. You're going to need help. You're going to want to know where my seating charts are. They're in here. You're going to want to know, well, which teachers
Both
do
of
I
us
find?
are gesturing towards an imaginary object in our hands.
We are gesturing.
That none of you can see. But imagine holding up a binder and then pointing at it in a YouTube video. That's something you can see.
I mean, what if...
in your mind's eye.
You always have it someplace X, but something happened and you are leaving in the middle of the day and you've moved it. Well, now, if it's a written out direction, they have no clue where to find it. You know, the number of times you'll hear a sub say, I don't think they have any seating charts. Well, no, it's just the teacher moved the seating charts and they weren't where they said in the directions. So if you show them the physical thing, it's much more helpful. Okay, next is, how do they use the technology? Even if someone is really familiar with technology, now in the business world, you probably have people who manage your technology for you. Oh, really?
Not in this type of context.
Okay.
Because, like, yeah, you got, like, analogous thing would be, like, you need to set up a video conference in a video conference room, and there's, like, a sheet printed out that ideally works. We've gotten better. It used to be way more complicated than you'd wish it to be.
In teaching, all of our technology is sometimes literally duct taped together. Like, it's very jerry-rigged, and sometimes they're, you have to talk nicely. There's different...
Jury-rigged.
What is it?
Jury.
Oh, it's not Jerry?
Yeah.
I thought it was a dude named Jerry.
Well, so you might think Jerry, because that's what the British people called the German people in World War I.
I didn't know
and so
that.
Like, there's like a jerry can is a really efficient way of storing, like, if you think of like a gas can on a Jeep.
Yes.
That's called a jerry can. Jury-rigged, though, is a much more ancient term. It comes from sailing, like a lot of made-up words.
How do you even know that?
Because I myself argued with myself about whether it was supposed to be jerry-rigged or jury-rigged, and I looked it up, and it's definitely jury-rigged. Like, to rig mean like rigging a sail, and a jury is actually related to the word injury.
I feel like this is a whole separate podcast.
Well, it's a real quick digression. It's fun.
Okay,
The listeners love this. But like injury, right?
Correct.
So
sure.
it's the word is related to injury in the sense that when you're rigging a broken ship to make it go despite it being broken, you're jury rigging it.
Got it.
It's thus jury rig. Jury rig is a corruption.
Okay, so technology can be difficult, and showing the sub how to use the different technology in the classroom, particularly if it's an essential element, like for me, if my technology isn't going, my sub's going to have a hard time. Also include what to do if you didn't have time to write sub plans. So I will still write out now. I would say mine are maybe 5 or 6 bullet points per class or per learning activity time about what specifically they are doing during that time. But if I didn't have time to do that, and I am leaving them, I call it the sub plan cheat sheet. So my subs are left with a 1-page type cheat sheet that goes along with the video, and those two things combined together make their day. But what do they do if I don't leave that sheet?
Panic.
I include that in the video.
Oh, they don't panic? It's like the cover of the Hitchhiker's Guide.
It's a little bit like going back to my goal is to not have any behavior problems. Kids are doing review fun stuff. But at a certain point, you have to accept that something really bad might happen and you don't have that half an hour to put out that bullet list of the plans for the day. And so you need to include that in the video.
All right, so I'm introducing them to how like classroom management runs in this room.
Yep.
I am letting them know with video where to find answers to things and how the technology works.
Correct.
And then I have my fallback plan because ideally I'm adding a 1-pager of like what the kids need to learn today. But if for whatever reason that can't happen, like and just we'll trade learning for behavior.
Yes.
Whatever.
You have something that is allowing kids to review and play with the learning, but not in a way that...
If you run out of learning,
right.
here is your
fallback plan.
Yeah.
Your fallback plan. Okay, so this is all great and good, but have you ever tried to make a video, Jared?
I myself have not. I know you have.
So it's kind of scary, and then getting a video that is short seems impossible. So I have some tricks to actually making this video.
How to make a short video?
Yes. Okay, so you're needing to make your subplan video. Number 1, get yourself a pile of sticky notes and start writing everything that a sub would need to know about your classroom.
On sticky notes?
On sticky notes. About the routines, procedures, what to do about behavior. I mean, you're going to have like 50 sticky notes. Everything that if you were going to do those long subplans and all that stuff, you're putting it on a sticky note. Each sticky note, new idea.
Except you're not doing this at 4 a.m. when you're sick.
No, you're doing this.
You're doing the thing that you would do at 4 a.m. when you're sick if you were doing the long plan, but you're doing it, when you can, when you're not sick.
Right.
But you only have to do it once.
You only have to do it once, and then depending on your classroom structures, you might be able to reuse this video year after year. I find that about every 2 years I need to make a new video because you tweak things and things change.
That's not so bad though.
No, because this video really, when it all comes down to it, well, now I can make it in about an hour because of course I'm on video like 4 or 5 like this that I've done. But my first one took me 3 hours, which sounds like a lot, but I was gone several times that year, and every other time I was gone, it took me less than one plan time to make up what they needed to teach for the day. So you have all your sticky notes. You're going to have a million things, and then you're going to realize you can't include all of that. So now pare it down to the because they're not going to remember. You can't put so much in the video that's impossible for a person to remember all of that. And if you watch my videos, you'll notice I am right on the edge of too much to remember. So edit it down to the essentials.
Less is more.
Less is more. And the first 10 minutes of the class are more important than the last 10 minutes. Sure. So front load the video with how they set them up to have good classes or good days, and then they can wing the last bit if they need to. It's that establishing that
because
dominance.
If teachers are following your other methods, you've done all this work to create like a student like initiated learning classroom. Mm-hmm. So as long as we don't fumble on the way in the door, it's not like the substitute needs to drag them to learning.
Right.
As long as they can just maintain the regular feel of the classroom, they'll just do what they know they're supposed to do.
That is correct. Yes, the kids will do the learning because they've goal set it and it's their learning. Okay, so you have your sticky notes, you've edited your sticky notes. Now you need to put them in order of what you need to explain first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So that when you're making your actual video, you're going to have your sticky notes with you and you are literally going through your sticky notes.
Here's one note, boom. Here's one note, boom. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to want some sort of countdown clock. You're going to want to set it for 20 minutes. Because no matter what, no one is watching anything over 20 minutes. You're going to be lucky to get them to watch over 15 if they even have the time.
Right.
I mean, like, logistically, when they get that job...
10 is ideal.
10 is ideal.
15 is at the border of too much.
Yeah.
And then log into 15 is like, come on.
Yeah, you better... Those last 3 minutes better have some important stuff. And I think my current subplan video is like 16 minutes, so... Yeah, definitely nothing. You have no excuse for over 20 minutes. So set a countdown clock. Put that where you can see it, and it will cause you to hustle a little bit in your video. Because they can rewind. If you're talking too fast, let them be in control of rewind. Do not talk too slow.
Right.
Get it out there. No matter what, record all the way straight through.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Sort of like we're doing right now.
Sort of how we make our podcasts. Sometimes I have to edit out things that say, are you sure we should keep going? Maybe we should start over.
Sometimes the cats jump on things.
Or our kids make noises.
Yes.
But we just keep going.
Don't stop.
You go all the way through, and once it's done, you can do a second take if you want.
It's like writing, kind of. Like, actually getting the thing down is way more important than, like, getting it right. You can always get it right later.
Right. Well, and with video, the thing is you do that first one. Now, if you go to do a second one, the second one generally always is better.
Sure.
Because you've had this practice. If you stopped after 2 minutes, you'll
be really good at the first.
Yeah.
That's like music too. It's like when you're practicing a piece of music, if you stop as soon as you make a mistake, you'll get really good at the first part of the song. You'll never be even close to as good at the end part of the song, right?
Right.
You kind of gotta go through the whole thing and make all your mistakes and then improve on it.
Well, because sometimes leaving humanity in the video is what your sub needs to see. You're a human being. You are not creating something for Hollywood.
Right.
I guess this goes without saying, but I don't edit at all those videos. So I do 2 takes, and then let's say both takes I've gone over 20 minutes. Mine are too long. You've done your 2 takes, you know you can't use them, but you have to watch both of them. And that's where you might be editing your sticky notes down. You might be realizing what you need to say. You'll realize you forgot sticky notes that you need to add in instead. Then if you want to do a third recording, you can, but again, go all the way through, watch it, then you could do
You're not allowed to do a third or fourth recording unless you do a change to your sticky notes.
Yes. Change to your sticky notes,
the 2,
and you've watched the 2.
Yeah, watch the 2, fix the sticky notes. Then you can re-record if you want to.
Yes. So, you notice I said that the videos were just available on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
This is important. Your video can have nothing associated with individual children.
You're not saying, hey, Jimmy, he's a real rat.
Or you might have students who, and then you don't even reference them, but you can include what to do if a kid struggles with behavior. That's an essential element of how a classroom functions and something you would want a sub to do, and it might be that what they need to do is slightly different than what you do. But basically, you should feel like you could sit down every single parent of a child in your room, and they would walk away from watching this video feeling like they had a better understanding of how their kid learned and feel good about it.
If you need to leave a special instruction for Jimmy, like, that could be in the written stuff, right? Like, it wouldn't be in the video. This is just about the classroom. This is how the classroom works.
And more importantly, it's about you as a teacher.
Okay.
This is what I do when. It's very little about the students. I might talk about how the students are going to write a goal, but I'm talking about what I as a teacher do to make that happen. I'm not discussing students.
And then the goal of this whole thing is to, I think we touched on this a little bit, but just let me know if I'm wrong, is to allow the substitute to simulate the way that you make the classroom feel so that things will happen like they sort of naturally are going to if you were there.
And they're going to feel confident in doing it.
Sure. That's good for everyone?
Yes.
Especially you, because you didn't come in at 4:30 in the morning to write lesson plans all day.
No.
Yeah.
No, I was just gone for several days at school, and I wrote my sub plans during lunch, and you could argue I should have been eating lunch, but that's 25 minutes. It was at the start of the school year where it's easy for me to be gone after I get through October, because as I've mentioned in other podcasts, kind of up until that early October, my kids are still learning the systems and routines of the classroom. And the sub, I ended up having an associate come up to me after I got back, and she said, your sub just gushed and gushed over how great it was to sub in your room and how easy it was with the video and to know what to do. And it was very nice of that associate to tell me all of that. But it helped reaffirm that it's worth the time, it's easier for you as a teacher, and it makes your sub feel better.
It's kind of, it's an ounce of prevention is a pound of cure type thing, right?
Right. And I look like, I don't look good in my video. I don't sound good in my video. Like, you got to get over that.
It's real.
It's real, and it wasn't a 4-hour sub-plan that I had to rewrite every time someone got sick.
Is it recap time?
Recap.
The old ways.
Old ways. Bad ways.
One is we just give up on learning. We trade minimal learning for good behavior.
Yes.
It works.
It works.
Everyone does it to an extent.
You feel guilty doing it, and you don't like being gone because of it.
2 is to basically teach an entire day's worth of class in notes and lesson plans that you develop in the morning before you're even allowed to be sick.
Right.
And spend hours making sure that every detail of an automaton is programmed ahead of time.
I have literally puked in trash cans at school while trying to write sub plans. Yes.
Right. Neither of these optimal.
Not a good choice.
What are we going to do today? Maybe not today. This week, before we need to use it, we're going to record a video.
Yeah.
That introduces our room to the sub.
Correct.
And our goals in this video are to have them understand the way that the classroom management works.
Yep.
Where they go to find answers, how to use the technology so that they're comfortable just running the room.
Correct.
And then you're going to include a fallback option in that. If
right,
they
and it
run out
might
of
be
learning.
where to find the fallback option.
Sure.
Right? You don't have to go into detail, but you're desperate, this is the drawer or this is the tub.
And then the Johanna method for making videos generally, including this one.
Yes.
You're going to write out the sticky notes. All those things that you would be doing at 4:30 in the morning, you're going to put on sticky note after sticky note.
Correct.
And then you're going to arrange them
Yep.
And then you're going to do one take.
One take.
And then you're not going to like it.
You're not going to like it.
And then you're going to do another take.
If you need
to.
to.
While you're watching a countdown timer, because you got to keep it under 20 minutes.
Yep.
Really, you're shooting for 10. And then you watch both those videos. If you like it, if you can live with one of them, do it.
The key word there is live with it.
Live with.
If you can live with it, can someone watch this? Could a parent watch this and it would be fine? A sub can watch this and get what they need. That's it.
And if not, you're allowed to make 2 more takes, but you gotta edit your sticky notes down.
Yep.
Do it again.
Yep.
Should be good now. As long as you didn't make it personal in any way. It's about the classroom. It's not about any of your students.
Anyone should be able to watch this video, and it shouldn't, you aren't
student,
you aren't releasing a grand secret of the school that's important for safety. None of that. This is an open to the public, because you don't want to create a video that you have to keep private and then worry about who gets access to that video. Just assume anyone is going to watch it.
Anyone on the whole internet, really, if they cared.
Right. You don't ever create something that is for only a certain audience. That is a terrible choice. I am not advocating that at all.
Right.
Anyone should be able to watch whatever you make.
Okay.
Or don't make it.
And then once you have this, when you are sick in the morning or something and you're like, there's no way I can teach today, what does your morning look like then?
My morning generally looks like me typing out on my computer a bullet list of whatever the learning is. If it's at the start of the school year, it might be a little bit more intensive. If it's at the end of the school year, I'm like, the kids know what they're working on. Just tell them it's work time.
Do you even go into the room?
Sometimes I do. And sometimes I send the list to the Oh, this is another important secret.
Good. I'm
glad
gosh.
You
Brought
hate
this up
when
at the
I
end
add
of the
this
thing. We're not allowed to add things at the end.
Whoever subs check in with is the person who should have your sub plans.
Good. That makes sense.
You can have a copy in your classroom, that's fine, but there's nothing like ensuring that someone follows a sub plan than when there's an adult who hands it to them and said, oh, here's your sub plans. Because your desk could be chaos and you might think you have it where they can find it, but...
Otherwise they're going to go in and be like, oh, I guess I'm just going to wing it.
And they could literally have 5 minutes.
Right.
So they need it handed to them. Don't put it on your teacher partner. Yeah. It's really easy to have, in my case, the secretary do it.
And this takes you about, so how much time do you put in then whether you go in or whether you do it?
About 30 minutes.
That's a big improvement then.
There's still room for improvement, but I'm not sure we're going to get rid of that last, because I want kids learning.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not a classroom where it's sit down, like you say, sit down, shut up, and read chapter 5.
Right.
I want an interactive classroom where kids are actively doing things. So that's probably my trade-off.
Okay.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you, Johanna. Teacher Talk, the podcast for teachers who are lifers but still want to have a life.